Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. So today we get to take a look at the 2025 Chevrolet Traverse. This is a high country. It's finished off in Lakeshore Blue with an MSRP just over $55,000. Now this is powered by the 2.5 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder. It's paired to an 8-speed automatic. It pumps out 328 horsepower, 326 pound-feet of torque. This model is front wheel drive. It weighs in around 4,500 pounds. It'll do 0 to 60 in just shy of 7 seconds. It has a top speed of 125 miles an hour. It also has a fuel capacity of 19.4 gallons. You'll expect to see 20 miles per gallon in the city, 27 out on the highway. This also has a wheelbase of 121 inches. Its overall length is 204. It has a width of 79.5, a height of 69.5, and its ground clearance measures in at 6.7 inches. Now, as we take a look at the exterior styling for the new Traverse, you'll notice up top, there's the LED turn signal along with the DRL. The headlight and the high beam is actually located in the lower housing there. There's the Chevy bow tie right in the middle, along with a forward-facing camera, and then a dual grille setup. So you'll notice a solid bar with that Chevy badge, and then the upper and lower section with plenty of cutouts, finished off in gloss black with the chrome accents. You'll notice more chrome accents surrounding the headlights, and then there's also some small air inlets underneath both of those housings. There's parking sensors in the lower section, along with the distance pacing sensor right in the middle, and then gloss black for that entire lower section, and some really nice lines that come down both sides of the hood. Now, as we work our way to the side, this has a very nice set of wheels with the two-tone design and that multi-spoke pattern. There's more gloss black surrounding the fender arches, which matches nicely with the bumper and the lower side skirt. It's also on the mirror caps where there's a camera and a turn signal. Now this particular model has no sunroof, but there's roof racks up top and then some chrome accents for the window trim, just to tie in nicely with the chrome accents that are on the door handles too. And this is a 3-row SUV, so I think it has a great design to it with its added length, especially with the design of that cargo window on the side. Now in back, there's the body colored spoiler, third brake light, along with the camera for the digital rear view mirror. There's the wiper blade, LEDs for the taillights, backup camera, all the parking sensors. There's also the quad tip dual exhaust, and with the hitch, which is currently covered right now, this can tow right around 5,000 pounds. This model also has remote start, so just lock the vehicle and then you can double tap on the button underneath it and bring this to life. And then just hold on it. That is how you can shut it off. There's also the button to release the lift gate, or just push on the electronic button up underneath. And with this being a 3-row SUV, there's a lot of space with the third row up. You can lift up the floor too, where you can place some items up underneath the floor if needed. And then the third row is electronic. You do have the controls for the second row, however. So on this left side, if I just push on this button, that's how it can fold flat. And then from there, you would have to go around and actually move it. So you can fold this seat all the way down, but you'll notice that second row does have to be slid just a little bit further in order for these to fold flat. But you do have plenty of space with them up or down, so it's very nice and practical. Up top, there's only one button, so that will just close the power liftgate. And when you walk away, it will lock. You do have the hands-free option too to open and close that. There's also proximity door handles, so you can lock and unlock it from the back doors, where this has Bose audio, some more chrome accents, all of the white leather there with the two-tone design. And then it's easy to flip these seats back up, of course, where this model has captain's chairs for the second row. Now there's the bar on the side to recline and incline. There's a bar up front to slide the seat forwards and backwards. However, the easiest way to get into the third row is just push on this button here, and the seat basically moves into that forwards position. You'll notice that the backrest did not move, so maybe if you have a car seat or something, it will still move with those items there, and you could maybe slide between both of these seats if you wanted to walk through. Now, as far as legroom goes, this seat could be moved forward, of course, to give you some extra. There's storage pockets, auxiliaries too, and at my height, I have 3 inches maybe of headroom. It's not all that bad. My knees are a little bit higher than the bench of the seat here, but other than that, we have some large windows here too. So it's not bad. I could ride around town in the third row if I really needed to. So it's functional for adults. And then as we hop into the second row, there's storage pockets behind both front seats, cup holders in the middle. These are even heated captain's chairs. There's fan speed, temperature, where you'd like the air to go, auxiliaries, and storage in that lower section. And then at my height, I have plenty of headroom for the second row, as you would expect. They can recline. There's adjustable armrests too. So very comfortable to be in the captain's chairs too. And then working our way up front, the door panel has memory seating adjustments. There's also the easy entry and exit mode, power folding side mirrors, window controls, the liftgate releases in the lower section, and then there's storage space too. And then automatic front seats, which have a neat design to them, two-tone look too. And then hopping into the driver's seat, there's solid leather along with the gloss black trim accent up top. But let's start this up. We can go over the rest of this tech. This does have paddle shifters on both sides. It still retains volume and tuning, which are just underneath that. All the cruise control settings are on the left side along with Super Cruise. There's the low range gear too, so you can use that as needed. On the right side, heated steering wheel, shortcuts to your music, Bluetooth and voice commands. And then you have this pages button basically to go through the gauge cluster. So you can pull up the map. You have this setting here where you have 3 different icons to view. You have more of a clean setup with just miles per hour in the middle. And then you have a second one there just with a little bit different of a layout. Now on this left side, there's the e-brake, and you do have different driving modes. So you can push on that control to go from sport to snow and ice. There's tow and haul, a normal mode, and then back to sport. And you do have a few with the trailering system that you can go into and get through all of those settings as needed. There's the engine start stop, dimmer switch for the gauges, 1 air vent, some carbon fiber like trim accents too, which look really neat. Now there's no head-up display for this model. And then with the infotainment system, you have a lot more to go through. Everything in the upper section is fixed, so you can quickly get into your home screen, where you do have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. You can get into a split view to monitor this information and go through a little bit on that left side too, which is helpful. You can get into music, you can get into Google Maps, pull up your phone, and then you do have some controls that you can get into for your camera, dome lights, traction control. You can even get into more adjustments here to go through that. Now you'll notice on the left side, there's power and volume for the audio, and then specific shortcuts on this left side to get into your controls, get into your headlights, and the last one is for the lane keeping assist. There's also the power button on the top, so you can use that to mute the audio too. In the lower section, everything is fixed. So there's temperature dials, heated and ventilated seats, fan speed in the middle where you'd like the air to go, nicely laid out with more of that trim accent just underneath it. There's air vents in the middle, and then you do get physical buttons. You can turn on and off the climates. There's fan speed, defrosters, and temperature dials. So you don't have to use that screen for some of those important functions. There's wireless charging with auxiliaries and the storage here. 2 cup holders. There's storage behind that too. There's even storage in the entire lower section where you can place some larger items. You do get additional storage underneath the armrest. And then in order to put this into reverse, simply just use the column mounted stalk, where we have the backup camera. You have a few different angles depending on what you'd like to see. If you go towards you and down, that's how you put it into drive. So now you can look at the forward-facing camera, and then park's located on the end of that stalk. There's also the digital rear view mirror, so that way if you don't want to see the headrest or your passengers, you have additional visibility. There's garage door buttons, some OnStar controls with dome lights. You get a sunglass holder too. And then here's a look at visibility. You have a lot of glass, so it's very easy to see for this longer vehicle. So setting off behind the wheel now for the all-new Chevrolet Traverse. The last press vehicle that I had before this was the all-new GMC Acadia. So I'm essentially driving the exact same vehicle as that. We just have a few different features. Front-wheel drive for this specific model versus all-wheel drive for the Traverse that I was able to review. So essentially, this is the same car that I just filmed. So you can take a look at that video too if you want to see some of the differences. Full panoramic sunroof in the GMC, Super Cruise in the GMC, all-wheel drive. You just have a few other options depending on what you're looking to get from your 3-row SUV. As far as some of those options go, this is going to drive the exact same. So I had that for an entire week. Now I'm in this for an entire week. It's been a really nice vehicle, especially the GMC too. So kind of talking about both of them. It's been super comfortable for highway driving, cruising. You have a lot of space in the back. Now I haven't packed anybody in the back, but just from myself sitting in these seats and orientations, it seems like a pretty spacious 3-row SUV without being overly large. It's not Cadillac Escalade size, you know, a larger 3-row like that, but it's really neat to see that Chevy GMC made enough space with the third row up to place in items, third row down, you have plenty of space. So it's a very practical vehicle. You can even hook up some smaller trailers to it. So for a 3-row vehicle, this has some of those utility features that you would expect from an SUV like this. It's also super quiet too. Hopefully you've been able to tell as I have traffic passing me here. It's really not all that loud on the interior. So it makes for a great daily driver, great road tripping vehicle, and just something that you can pack full of people if you are hauling people from point A to point B all of the time. And there's not much else to talk about it. It's just a pretty solid 3-row SUV. So for its price, not all that bad, especially when there's some other luxury brands. GMC is going to cost a bit more, but most 3-row SUVs are going to be a little north of this pricing here. Ford Explorer, for example, maybe about the same, just depending on the trim level that you go with. So you have a lot of different options out there depending on what you like best. Now with the GMC Acadia, I actually reviewed that to quite a lot of the competitors too. I won't be redoing that with the Chevy here. So if you want to see the competitors with this, I had the Hyundai Palisade, Ford Explorer, and a few others. So check out those videos if you want to compare it with some of the other brands. As we switch over to the POV angle now, I currently have Super Cruise on at the moment. So there's the green light indicating that it's on. It will also do automatic lane changes for you when it's safe to do so. So with the speed limit that I am currently going, it is noticing that the car in front of me is going slower than that set speed. So when it's safe to do so, the vehicle will actually change lanes for you, which is really neat to see. Now it's also interesting, this particular model does not have the head-up display. The GMC Acadia that I reviewed did have a head-up display, but you can see all the information in the gauge cluster there, so it's still helpful. But this is a great system to use. You can have some hands-free driving, but of course you do need to be paying attention at all times. It is not a system that I fully trust by myself, but it's definitely a helpful aid, especially if you're doing some long highway cruising. But behind the wheel for the Chevrolet Traverse, this is a really nice vehicle. It's super comfortable and quiet. You know, even with the truck next to us, you can hear it, but it's what you would expect in pretty much any vehicle really. The road noise and wind noise is very minimal, making this a great commuter. And it's comfortable, it's spacious. There's really not much more you would need for a family 3-row SUV like this. For its size, it's very maneuverable in parking lot situations too, so it's not a big vehicle, which is definitely helpful if you're not looking for that larger 3-row. But you can still get quite a lot out of this size vehicle. You have a lot of different options too, so you can go at a lower cost than the High Country here, depending on the options and features that you are looking to go with. So that is going to wrap it up for the 2025 Chevrolet Traverse. Again, if you want to see comparisons with the competition, take a look at those videos with the GMC Acadia, very similar to this of course. And if you enjoyed today's video, give it a huge thumbs up. Consider smashing that subscribe button so you can stay up to date with our daily uploads, and I will see you all in the next video.